Hello everyone. Today we are taking very basic topic, that is characteristics of living organisms, which we have taken from diversity in the living organisms. It is from class 11. So welcome to the living world, and this living world we are seeing that it is being comprised of human beings, animals, plants, microorganisms and so on. So first of all we need to understand what is living, and before living we should understand what is life. Actually, life is a unique complex organization of molecules expressing itself through chemical reaction, which we call as metabolic reaction, and that metabolic reaction leads to growth, responsiveness, reproduction and adaptation and so on. Thus we can say the object by itself exhibiting the phenomena of growth, development, reproduction, consciousness, metabolism is designated as a living organism. Now we reach at the point to explain who is said to be alive. Alive is one who exhibits growth, who can reproduce offspring, who exhibits the phenomena of metabolism, who shows adaptation, who has cellular organization, and who have the phenomena of homeostasis, that is regulation of internal environment, heredity of trait, and he can alive to stimulus. So from here we come to the characteristics of the living organism. On the left hand side we have growth, reproduction, responsiveness, metabolism, cellular organization, and these are the basic characteristics of the living organism. Apart from this there are homeostasis, heredity, adaptation, lifespan and movement, and we are studying one by one. So far as the growth is concerned, in very simple word we can say increase in mass or number of cells by the process of cell division. So in plants the growth is continuous through their life, whereas in animals it occurs up to certain age, but it does not mean growth stop. It division continues, cell division continues for the maintenance of this replacement of lost tissue. And in the pic we are seeing the how the growth is taking place in case of plants, in case of humans, animals and so on. So next is growth is also we see in the non-living objects, as we are observing in sand dunes and layer after layer, but and also in the snow mountains. But this type of growth is external, whereas in the living things it is internal, or we can say it is intrinsic due to various metabolic activities. And also growth is irreversible in living organisms. We can say that the growth is the characteristics of living organism, very important, but it's not the defining properties of the living organism. So next the property, the characteristics is the reproduction. Actually we all know that reproduction is the ability of an organism to produce young ones so that the continuity of life is maintained, and it occurs both ways, that is sexually and asexually. Sexually with the help of gametes, male gamete and female gamete, and two parents are required, whereas in asexual only one parent is required and it takes place in the lower organism, whereas sexual reproduction is observed in higher plants and animals. This is the pictures showing the how the reproduction takes place in the human. Sexual reproduction, these human being producing sperm and ovum, and on fertilization producing zygote and ultimately next offspring, that is baby. And this is the plants in how the pollination are taking place, and for the sexual reproduction of in plant. And here lower one is the fragmentation taking place in the various organisms, and here is this diagram showing the budding in hydra. These are the various types showing the reproduction. So in unicellular organisms such as amoeba, growth and reproduction are inclusive events, because we say that the increase in mass or increase in the number. And in the unicellular organism, when fission takes place, we see that the increase in number, which is also we can say as it is as a growth. So at the same time it is also a reproduction. So in case of unicellular organism, when one organism divides into two, the number is increasing, and in that case it is also a growth. So both things are inclusive factor, where in the multicellular their growth and reproduction are mutually exclusively. And One thing is more, no non-living object is capable of reproducing itself. And we see that there are some organisms which do not reproduce but are living. And these are the mules, which is the output of this female horse and male donkey, and it is sterile, it cannot produce young ones. And similar is the case of worker bees who are sterile, and there are living couple, infertile human couple who are living but cannot reproduce offspring. So we can say that reproduction is one of the essential characteristics of living being for the continuity of life, but not the defining feature of the living organism. Now coming to the metabolism. Metabolism is sum total of all the activity, or sum total of all the chemical reaction that are occurring in the living organism. All the activity we see that growth, movement, reproduction, responsiveness are all due to the metabolism. No non-living objects show metabolism, and these metabolism include two types, anabolism and catabolism. When we have two small objects to combine to one bigger one, that is called anabolism. For example, carbon dioxide and water combine in the presence of sunlight to in the process of photosynthesis they produce carbohydrates. And similarly, in the case of catabolism, that is breakdown of material, that is respiration, and food is broken down to form carbon dioxide and water, and with the production of energy. So metabolism reaction can be shown also in the outside, that is in vitro culture. Here we see that as such as in a test tube, we can say in the beaker, and this the in vitro the phenomena is the non-living one, but the reaction which is going on, it is living. So we can say metabolism, the metabolic reaction inside a cell, not in vitro. Metabolic reaction inside a cell is the defining feature of the living organism. Now next property is the responsiveness, very important characteristics. It is the ability of organism to sense their environment and respond to physical, chemical, or biological. Whenever we touch heat, hot substance or cold substance, and we feel with the help of skin, with the help of we sense it is cold, it is hot. Similarly, the stimuli are perceived by the sense organs by the higher animals like eyes, ear, and nose and skin. And here in the diagram we are seeing that our eyes see the number 3, and how it goes to brain, sensory nerve catches, and to motor nerves we are able to the type 3. And similarly, in the condition of case of a plant, there are not sophisticated sense organs. They only respond to external environment such as light, water, temperature, and they show their response in the form of transpiration, increasing or decreasing the rate of transpiration, opening and closing of stomata, or turgidity and wilting, and etc. And response to stimuli, or we can say that is awareness or consciousness, is the defining feature of all the living organisms. So human being have an additional feature of self-consciousness, self-awareness. He is very particular about himself or herself. How am I looking? What will other people think about me? So it is the additional feature of the self-consciousness. So far as the cellular structure is concerned, we see that the cell is a basic, fundamental, functional unit of life. Body of organism, it consists of cell and products, and also we know that all the metabolic reactions occur inside the cell. Hence we can say cellular organization of body, it is a defining feature of the life form, is the defining characteristics of the living organism. And apart from these characteristics, there are also other characteristics, that is adaptation, lifespan, homeostasis, healing and repair, movement, heredity, adaptation, variation, and so on. These are other characteristics. And to conclude, we can say that living organisms are self-replicating, that is, they are reproducing themselves, evolving, that is, they are showing metabolism, self-regulatory interactive system, that is showing homeostasis, capable of respond to external stimuli, that is, they respond, they show consciousness, responsiveness, and so on. So it is all about that characteristics of the living organism. And we thank you. We will meet in the next video again.